Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Dwayne with Bronco Wild Outdoors, and right next to me is
Gavin.
Mr. Gavin, and we're all in one place again. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're watching us last week, I was in Horseshoe Bay, Texas, doing live with Gavin here, and we were talking about the Bronco Off Roadeo. It's kind of cool.
I was actually right here. Dad was in Texas.
My spot. So real quick, you had a busy week. Just a couple words on that. You went camping, and how'd you like it?
It was pretty fun.
Pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty fun. That's a couple words, man. You just kept it right to the. All right, you could elaborate a little bit. It was pretty fun or a lot of fun?
A lot of fun.
Yeah, your good friend. That's gonna make some noise on the live stream. See, listen. We're still learning the technology, folks. Hey, real quick, this review for the Bronco Off Roadeo. This is pretty serious. So I want to start by, I know on the internet world, the interweb, as what's his name says. Oh, the guy from Gas Monkey always calls it the interweb.
I forgot his name.
Yeah. So there's been some content. Well, maybe you don't have to go do this. You don't have to go, right? Should you go? Yes, you should go. And I want to tell you why. I'm a newbie to the off-roading world. I'm not new to speed. I'm not new to performance, and especially with the Ford Mustang, I get it. But this is a different deal. This is off-roading. Off-roading is an entirely new set of skills. I mean, the only thing's the same is you have a steering wheel and 4 tires. That's pretty much it, Gavin, because let me start by saying that when you approach Bronco Off Roadeo, it's actually pretty cool. You have to really look for the sign because they're on an interstate that people I think they're at Talladega, trying to go for the win. And when you see the sign, you have to you're going to pass and turn around and come back. But when you pull into the area, you've got the Bronco, written over the archway of the driveway. The approach into the facility is great. The place is clean. It's new. It's laid out. It's really cool. I mean, just the way everything's laid out. And so when you get there, you feel something special, right? You park in a parking lot and you have to walk down a hill, and you walk to the building, base camp. And then around base camp, I don't know how, I didn't count. I should have asked someone, but there's probably between Bronco, 2 doors, 4 doors, and sports, there's probably, I don't know if I had to guess, 60 Broncos, 70 Broncos, something like that.
Because when we were in
Townsend,
yeah, we saw 21, or I think all of them there. All the new Broncos, which includes the sports and the
yeah, there was like 31.
No, it was 21.
21, gotcha. All right, so when you drive down there and everything is laid out, it's very nice. And there again, I'm not going to try to be fanboy with the whole thing, but I mean the bottom line is the place is nice. It's laid out right. You walk in, you register, take care of paperwork, and then you wait for your session or your class to everyone to get there and for your group to begin. And it was pretty systematic. They had everything started on time, at least for us. It started on time, and it was a really cool event. You had you could call it maybe a driver's meeting, but I think officially it was sort of just your group meeting. You would get together, introduce to your trail guides a little bit about their background, so you knew that you're not learning from someone that worked at the local convenience store a week ago and now they're driving Broncos. I mean, these people have the experience, and they're bringing years of and miles of experience to this event to help you maneuver the trails, which I thought was interesting because I'll tell you, between the Ford Bronco and the trail guides, it's a perfect match that someone like me can get in, and I think I'm pretty good with driving. I mean, wouldn't you say? And yeah. I get behind the wheel and, dude, are you tired already or what?
Didn't get much sleep.
Didn't get much sleep from camping. So I get behind the wheel of just about anything and can drive it. But I'll tell you that the Ford Bronco is a very comfortable vehicle. I've said it plenty of times. I know you're probably tired of hearing it, but the cockpit of the Bronco, everything's laid out right. It just feels right. The steering wheel, the diameter, which, by the way, I've said that from sitting in a Bronco in a Ford dealership parking lot. But guess what? I got to drive this Bronco up slick rocks, through creeks, through washes. You know what a wash is, by the way?
Like a river?
Yeah, well, it's really
A river or a pond?
well,
Not
it's a
pond,
low area that has water in it after a heavy rain.
a big puddle.
Right. Well, it moves water during a heavy rain. So anyway, so it depends on how much rain you've had. It's either going to be wet or dry. And parts of this thing was pretty deep. So you couldn't see what was below the surface, by the way. We'll talk about that. This is going to be a little bit extended version. So grab your popcorn, sit back. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, please, and like the video because YouTube loves likes and they love for us to get likes. And when you like it, the video, they share it to other Bronco fans. And so we all get to see it. So driving the Bronco, okay. So I get there was not a lot of detail. You know, they didn't give you the inch by inch detail on the Ford Bronco. You go over the vehicle, what it's capable of, the functions, the important things, but then you sit down and you press the start button. Which, by the way, have you ever really noticed the start button looks like one of the headlights?
Mm-hmm.
Looks like looking at the Bronco, it looks like the passenger side headlights.
Yeah.
It's circle with the little line through it. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool. You crank it up.
What?
I said you crank it up. You hit the push button. You crank it up, and the screen. I had an 8-inch screen in mine. I didn't have the 12-inch touch screen, but it comes alive. You hear the bell. You hear all that, and everything you've ever seen or ever heard in a video, watching it or watching content or whatever. If you're not one of the lucky dozen or so people that's received your Bronco yet. But you actually get in it, you hit it, you just hear it come alive, right? You put it in gear and you start to move and you pick your goat mode. And of course, the instructors tell you all about that, which goat mode. I mean, nothing's left for suggestion. It's pretty much, here's what you need to do. And they give you a little bit of room to do that. But I'll tell you, Gavin, driving this Bronco is just as incredible as we all think it will be. Is the videos show it, the performance. I mean, we have a video uploaded last night called Breaking Bronco, and then in the brackets, or at least trying. We didn't break it, but I think they tried. This thing is incredible. And when I tell you it's incredible, I don't mean it's because I like Bronco and I can't wait to get mine. I just want a build date. Let's hang on to some hope, but a build date. Which, by the way, we're going to talk about what my plans are. I'm boldly going to announce to the world what we're going to do with our order this week. But you get in this, you get in this Bronco, you put it in gear, and you start to drive. And within 300 feet of first driving this Bronco, we're in this wash. And in the wash, there's a lot of rocks. Some of the rocks are pretty big, and some are small and medium size, and everything in between. But basically, you just don't run over big rocks. I think it was told to us that the big rocks there were their friends and you don't run your friends over. So it's like, all right, let's not do that because, there is a reality here. You don't want to run over big stuff and tear up your rig. So you get to learn how to drive around it and you drive into the wash. And suddenly, from the instant you get behind the wheel, you start to feel what it feels like off-roading. Now, I know you don't have any experience driving yet, but for those of our people watching here, viewers, fans, whoever you are, I'm glad you're watching, by the way. When you've hit something big in the road, if you're going really slow, especially the steering wheel will really jerk out of your hand. The thing about the Bronco is when you're in this wash and you're hitting these big rocks, the steering wheel is not all over the place. It's pretty tight. It's the most incredible thing in the world is that you're totally in control. Gavin's sister, my 14-year-old daughter said, "Dad, I just feel safe." That was her comment. What kind of testament is that for the Ford Bronco? That someone that's not really invested either way, riding in it, she just felt safe, right? So it's pretty cool. That's a good comment. But when you're in this thing, you're bouncing around, you're hitting the holes, and there again, it's not the hardest thing you've ever done. If you go four-wheeling every week, you'll say, well, it's no big deal. I'll do it every week. But what about those people that's never been four-wheeling or never driven through a rock wash or has never driven up a slick rock slope or a hill? That it's new, right? And I mean, you're going from not doing it to doing it, and they're partying in the back. I think we have some noise in the background, so sorry about that.
This mic picks up everything.
Yeah, it picks up like the people across the street, and we have a big yard. So, but basically, you go from not doing this to driving off road in an instant, and suddenly somehow it feels natural. Now, what does that tell you? Like, that is the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
What do you think? Quick, real quick. Well, you saw my videos. You've seen some of them. What's up?
I think it's pretty cool.
You pretty cool. You got like
pretty
you,
cool.
you got like stains over here. You've had a rough day, haven't you? Gavin's been sleeping a lot today from his camping trip. He's a little tired.
I only got like
All right,
4
so
hours of sleep.
so let me tell you real quick. So we drive out of there. We go up this dirt path. So now we go from this rocky wash to a dirt path, and we go up a hill and around a corner and over a little asphalt road and down a hill to grandmother's house we go. And it was really a cool experience to be able to, you're in 4 low at some point. You can switch to 4 high. And what I thought was interesting. Now, this is unofficial. This is not marketing. I'll probably get someone mad at me, but you have 7 goat modes. Okay. You know that, or up to 7, depends on your model. But let's just say we have a fully loaded Badlands. We have 7 goat modes on our vehicle. You also have your hero switches. So think about this. You can actually customize to a point your hero switches to whatever mode you're in. So what I thought was interesting is, well, if I go to rock crawl, I disengage as a front stabilizer, but I can manually make it go back. So what if I want to customize that mode a little bit? So there's going to be, you have your 7 goat modes, but then you also have some type of configuration that you can then customize to a point to your liking. And what I thought was cool about that, it was all about how it feels to me, not how someone engineered it to be, right? So if I was going up this rocky slope, I'm new at this, there's a certain feel in the steering wheel I wanted. And so if we were in 4 low and we disconnected this stabilizer or the sway bar disconnect, basically what happens is the articulation of the Bronco increased. So you had a little bit more movement. And it made it so much more easier to drive over some of these big rocks. But then there were some places I was in rock crawl mode, but I wanted to re-engage it. I didn't want that flexibility. And then mud and rut. And then there was actually a point in the track you get to use the Baja mode if you chose. So we did Baja and 4 high. And I have to tell you something, this Ford Bronco, like whenever you finally get yours, if you've ordered one, I'm assuming you're going to have a break-in period in it. These Broncos were actually, newsflash, most of these Broncos came from Townsend, Tennessee. So if you're at Supercell East, the Broncos that were there in Horseshoe Bay, Texas at Bronco Off Roadeo were in Supercell East. And so you remember the black base that we were in. So I think we caught a little bit of air on one of the bumps there, but it was really cool.
Mm-hmm. And can I tell them? I think they already know. They most likely already know. But we're going to Colorado.
That's right.
In September?
September 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th, I think it is. Supercell West. So we will be there. We actually have to book everything this week. And I was going to reach out. Hey, if someone knows that area well and you've actually been to Supercell West before, I'd love to know in the comments. Perfect place to stay. Like, where does the majority of the people stay there that are attending the event? I mean, I know there's people going to be at different lodges or hotels or cabins or wherever, but kind of like the area that someone would stay in. We kind of stay. I think there's fireworks going off outside. We have fireworks outside going off again. So
yeah,
you hear that?
Definitely.
Man, they're still jamming outside. So Supercell West will be there, but let's get back to Bronco Off Roadeo in Horseshoe Bay, Texas. Now, we decided to stay just outside of Horseshoe Bay in a place called Marble Falls, and it closes early around there at night. So if you're looking for a nightlife, it's probably not the place to do it. Beautiful place. I loved it. People were really nice. We had people go out of our way to hold doors for us. We were walking out of a restaurant and somebody was walking in. They were 3 steps in the restaurant. They actually turned around and went back and opened the door for us. And my daughter's like, wow, that was pretty cool. I'm like, well, welcome to Texas. People here are just really nice. So Texas is a blast. If you're on the fence about Bronco Off Roadeo, I'll tell you, I cannot see how you could possibly be disappointed. The event area, right? The site, I'll call it, base camp, the trail guides, everyone working in base camp. The food, by the way, did I tell you how good the food was?
Mm-hmm.
Man, The food was, I mean, perfect. And I'm a like iced tea aficionado.
Oh yeah.
The unsweet iced tea is perfect.
Specific.
Yeah, I just got to have it just right, and it was perfect. So, but we had a really good time, and the trails are. If you I uploaded a video tonight, uh, Bronco on the rocks, and you've got to use these titles, get people's opinion, but basically we were on the rocks. I mean, we actually there's a Bronco going up a rock climb in front of me. You have to go through a little stream, or it's called a river, but stream. You go through that. And the interesting thing is, when you haven't done this before, what lies beneath the top of the surface of the water? You don't really know. And so the person in front of you, of course, in this particular case, this is a closed course. Yes, they know what's there, but as a driver, you're watching the vehicle. If you have the luxury of someone in front of you, you're watching them go, and maybe if they really hit a rock that sent them, tilting to one edge, to one side or another, they had difficulty, you would change your line. But I would try to follow the person in front of me to a point, unless I would see them struggle with something. But what was interesting, Gavin, we had the opportunity, and maybe it was your driving style, how it felt to you, to pick between front locker and rear locker. So there was a couple of different cases where I had the front locker on going up a hill. Equipment management is something we also learned there. And I want to go over a couple of things really quick. And I know it's going to be a long live stream. Hopefully you'll stick around for it. But first of all, you learn about technology that you have, right? So there's technique to off-roading, and then there's the technology of the Ford Bronco. And you put this together with the trail guide's experience, and then there you go. You have this experience in front of you. Yeah, the fireworks here are like outrageous tonight, aren't they? Like they're just ripping it up outside. But the cool thing there was about technology management. So if you have your front locker in, your rear locker going up a rock climb, as soon as you get through that, right, and you don't need it, turn it off. So first of all, when your front locker's on, it's harder to steer. When your rear locker's on, I learned something that I did not know. It actually helps you turn in some tight areas where you might not, if you don't have trail turn assist, or in our case, we had trail turn assist, but maybe it wasn't that tight of a turn. So the rear lockers would actually help propel us around the corner a little bit. So it was a really good experience to get the feel of this Ford Bronco. So I'm totally confident now that when we get our Badlands, that when we start driving through the trails, we go to the beach, immediately I'm going to have a comfort level much, much higher than I would have had before. Because let's face it, you don't have to pull beside the trail and fire up YouTube and you don't want to fire up YouTube. I just turn the comments on, fire up YouTube and try to figure out what mode to be in, or how to maneuver something. So it was actually pretty cool. If you get a chance to go to Bronco Off Roadeo, do it. It's just my opinion. I really, really liked it. It was a great couple of days out of town. I get well, for us, how many days were we there? 3. Yeah, we're out of town total of 3 days, 3.5 days. But it was a good experience. People there are great. The trail's great. I got to learn a lot. So to the point, like I just finished saying, when we get our Badlands and we put a few road miles on it and break it in a little bit, I am confident that wherever we go, and then it'll be a learning curve. The harder the trail we go on, we'll take some trial and error to a point, right? So, yeah.
So how long are we going to stay in Colorado?
So, we'll have some travel days in there, but the event's 4 days. So we'll probably eat up one of those 4 days in a travel day. So we'll probably be there 5 days total. I don't know.
About a business week. So about like a business day week.
Yeah. So it's, I think,
Wednesday,
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So we'll come back on Sunday. So we'll probably leave on, and it's a long flight we're East Coast. So we fly Southwest. So we'll probably have one layover. It'll probably take us about 7 hours to get there. Not bad, huh?
Yeah. And what time are we leaving the hotel to go to the airport?
I have no idea. That'll depend on our flight. So that's a little early yet for all that.
Yeah.
What we're excited about is to be able to meet more people with, around this Bronco community. The one thing that I have learned, that wherever you go, there is a ton of really, really, really nice people around these Bronco events. I mean, we met a lot of nice people in Townsend, Tennessee. I met a lot at Bronco Off Roadeo. A few that we've followed each other on Instagram, and I think maybe somebody's watching right now. If you are, say hello here on YouTube. But we had a blast, and as our channel grows, and by the way, we're really pushing to 500 subscribers. I'd make it say, if you have other Bronco fans out there, if you could share our channel, that would mean the world to us. And like the videos and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It just really helps us grow this thing, because the goal about this channel it's really about to emphasize all the cool stuff that we can do with our Bronco. And now we don't have a Bronco yet, so luckily for me, I got to go to Bronco Off Roadeo in Townsend, Tennessee, and I'll be in 2 months in Bronco, was it Super Celebration West, Supercell West. So that's going to be really cool. But we went to Carlisle, and the people around the Bronco community is just really, really awesome. You meet a lot of good people. You've met a lot of great people. We've had a couple of people asking about you there, and so but the big takeaway for today is the Bronco at Bronco Off Roadeo. You learn the technology that's in the vehicle. You learn the technique of the trail. You put that together, and then you go out on the trail and you actually get seat time. You're holding onto the steering wheel. You're actually getting to pick. Now, a lot of times it would be recommended, front locker, rear locker, some different different areas that would let you pick. So later on in the event, you would start to feel, you would get a feel for how the Bronco performed. There was different models there. Some didn't have Sasquatch, some did. We were lucky enough to be in a Badlands with Sasquatch. And I had all the 7 goat modes and the hero switches. So we were able to kind of do what we want. The only thing I didn't have in mind was the 12-inch touchscreen. So I didn't have the 360 camera. Now, one thing I'll tell you, one thing that was highly recommended. Oh, by the way, before I say in the recommended part, if you're going on a trail, maybe an hour or 2 from your house, and you're new to this, if you go 4-wheeling now, you get it. But for example, if we go to Shenandoah, right? It's 3 hours away. We go to Shenandoah, we're going to go for 1 day.
Wait, Shenandoah?
Shenandoah, the mountains. What should we pack? What should we pack for that innocent 3 or 4 hour trip down a simple trail in the mountains? And we're going by ourselves, which is probably a mistake, right?
Boots.
What else should we take? This is a learning curve here. If you haven't been 4-wheeling, this is a big deal, because I got this one wrong.
Maybe a chainsaw on the back if any trees are. You're
doing better than I'm doing. Keep going.
Definitely an axe.
What time of the year is it?
Right now?
No, we're going September. September. All right, let me help you out here. What if we're going in September, right?
Fall?
Yeah, there you go. Fall. What if we're going in, say, let's say October, and it's 70 degrees during the day in October around here. It's crazy, but it is. And then what if up in the mountains the temperature drops down to the high 30s? But that's okay. We're only going for 3 or 4 hours, right? But what happens if we go by ourselves? First mistake. We didn't tell anybody where we were going. Second mistake. We didn't tell whoever where we were going when we would check in or be back. Third mistake. And then we go on this trail for just a few hours and we get stuck, or we have a breakdown. We have a, who knows what, whatever.
Flat tire, but you don't have a spare.
Well, no, you're going to have a spare. That's what makes it easy to the Bronco. So let's not say spare tire. But let's say we get stuck. Should you take something to eat overnight? Snacks? Should you take something to start a fire with?
Yes, definitely like the portable like flint and steel.
What about water?
Yes, like 10 bottles if you're just in for.
What about something to keep you warm at night? Blanket, sleeping bag.
Yes.
Now remember, we only wanted to go for like 3 or 4 hours one day. No big deal. 3 hours there. We're going to be on the trail 3 or 4 hours. We're going to come home that night, sleep in our bed, and everything's going to be happy. Except we didn't. We got stuck. We're by ourselves. We didn't tell anybody where we're going. We didn't check in. We don't have self-service. Yeah. And we just like have it stacked against us. Well, one of the things we learned, always be prepared when you go forward. First of all, if you're going by yourself, which is not the brightest idea, But if you are going on a simple, easy trail by yourself, let someone know where you're going and when you're going to check in, so that if you don't check in, they know what's coming. Now, there again, I know this is entry level stuff. I get it. But when asked the question, it's not the first thing that came to my mind. I did mention, you need snacks or something to drink, something like that. But I didn't think long enough or ahead of schedule to say, hey, maybe, let's let mom know where we're going, right? And if she doesn't hear from us by this time, then there's a buffer in there. If she doesn't hear about us by that time, then you need to call out the Calvary. So in a perfect world, we're going four-wheeling with friends and, whoever. I don't care what vehicle you own. Let's just go. All right. So the other thing was, and I wanted to hit on this because it's pretty detailed, equipment maintenance maintenance. Have some sympathy for the equipment, right? Don't ride around with the lockers on. Don't ride around in four low and you're trying to, go at a high rate of speed. Take care of your vehicle. Have stuff to stay if you have an emergency overnight. Let someone know where you're going. But whenever you learn these little things, for me, it was a 2-day crash course in the first time of off-roading. The one thing that I liked the slippery rocks, going up the rocks. I liked it.
Oh, and back to the supplies, always attach a winch.
Winches are good. Oh, by the way, we also learned when you're towing someone out, especially if you have it doesn't matter what kind of synthetic or you have a steel cable, there's a certain distance. So the length times the cable, certain distance away from it you want to be if you're helping someone be towed out. So if you're standing there and you've tied in a vehicle, you've tied it and someone's trying to pull someone else that's stuck, how far to stand away from that cable. If the cable breaks, what can happen? Bronco Off Roadeo was more about the Ford Bronco. It was also about trail management. Tread lightly. If it's green, don't drive on it if you can help it. Stay on the trail. Don't go riding off somewhere. The event was so cool because I was going there to learn just about the Bronco, and I learned about trail management, how to take care of the trail, where you're at. Just don't mess around with Mother Nature where you don't have to, right? Go have fun, take care of the place, right? Leave it better than you found it. How to what equipment to take, how to dress, certain events. So we get wound up with hitting that start button and taking a key fob and putting it in the console and just going and having fun. But there's a lot of stuff that happens before that. Bronco Off Roadeo, I would have to say, is sort of that umbrella or that university for off-roading. At least it was for me, because I haven't done it before. I mean, I did way back when I was a teenager, had a F-150 4x4, and we pulled an old car through the woods when it was on its roof. And, that's not four-wheeling. That's just being nuts. But I was also 17 years old.
That's just modern teen stupidness.
Yeah. You know what? You're awesome, my man. You know the deal. So this is my first go around with actually off-roading. Now, I've been on the beach with a four-wheel drive pickup truck, but I'm not going to call that off. That's not real off-roading. That's, just going out on the beach.
Off-roading, going through trails, rock climbing.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have fun. I can tell you. I wish you could have went with me, but you're going to have some fun. So the biggest thing that we found is that this Bronco Off Roadeo it was obviously about the Ford Bronco, and that's what most of it was about, and what the vehicle is capable of, and how to go up a rock slide and the trail guides. Not only were they nice and knowledgeable, they all had a sense of humor, made for just a great time. You were there with people, like-minded people that were there for the same reason you were, to learn about their new Bronco, the one that they're getting. And also, I think, I can't speak for everyone, but I know a couple of people I've talked to, is that the takeaway was more about everything else in addition to the Bronco, So we thought we were going to learn some cool features, and that was it. But we actually got to learn the whole thing. So it's pretty cool. But man, I can tell you, Gavin, driving it, I said this before, sitting in it was natural. Driving it just felt like I've done it 100 times before. It's so cool. You're going to love it. So what your seat, this is small talk. What's your seat? Which seat are you picking? It's got to be in the back. So like driver's side, passenger side, middle.
For filming, probably middle because you can get both sides and the windshield easily. But for like riding, probably and most of our cars are right on the left on the so
The
it's
passenger
like
side.
yeah or no the driver's
Yeah.
side.
Oh, the driver's side. So listen.
So backseat, not like so most cars like the Range Rover because that doesn't have a third row. I sit on the back row, driver's side.
Well, let's get back to the filming thing. That was kind of cool. If you haven't seen the video here on our channel, there's a couple different videos. There's a really quick abbreviated version on a short. It's a YouTube short, one of the videos on our site. But there's also Breaking Bronco. Watch that. And Bronco on the Rocks. Those two videos really get to show, and of course, there's another one out there when I was in Rocky Wash, off-roading in Rocky Wash Bronco style. Those videos really show what it's like, no frills. Now, I'm not speaking from talking points or watching other videos and compiling my own info. I'm telling you that I flew to Texas on a Southwest flight. I got in a Toyota rental car. It's like a go-kart, by the way. Thing's real small. And we drove to the hotel, and the next morning we got up, went to Bronco Off Roadeo. We had our check-in. We had our little short class that we had before we went out to the event. Then you actually get to learn about different features on the Bronco. You get to see things in action in a small course. Then you go to the trail. So you actually do get to learn a lot about the Bronco before you go out.
Oh, and Dad?
And hold on real quick, because I don't want to lose my train of thought. And what happens is you get in this thing and you start to drive, and suddenly you feel at home, or at least I did. So I can tell you there's not a lot of review. There's not a lot of tech talk I can give you, and pointers and spreadsheets and options and new things on this, that, and the other. I can just tell you that this Bronco is for real. Like so Ford somehow, whether it's on purpose, accidentally, I'd like to say it's mostly purpose, but maybe there's a little bit of luck in there. They designed this vehicle so good that you can get in it, you can hit start, you can go. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are just diehard Jeep fans that'll never like Bronco, but I talked to a lot of Jeep people that love the Bronco because it has a lot of the features Jeep's been lacking for years, right? That they don't have. The trail turn assist, for Pete's sakes. I mean, one of my videos we're doing this week, I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or Monday, definitely be what's today? Monday. Today is Monday. I keep thinking today's Sunday. This week, put it that way, you'll see a video about the interior coming out. I have a huge recommendation if you're on the fence about your interior. So by the way, if you don't have your build date, you don't have your VIN yet, watch this video this week. I'll try to do it before the emails. I don't know if Ford's doing the emails this week or not. This Thursday, the build dates and VINs and things like that. But either way, watch it, because this review of the interior of the Bronco is based on where I was on a ranch in East Texas with a lot of dust. And I tell you what, I can give you a review of the interior, not just how it looks or feels, but what I think you should do if you're on the fence, if you're not totally hooked on a certain interior. This is the video for you. So it'll be based on in the title will be the Ford Bronco interior. Mm-hmm. What you got, buddy?
So are you gonna be able to drive the Broncos at West, or?
I have no idea what they're doing there. If they're having a ride along or a drive or anything like that, I have no idea.
Drive along or a ride along?
I think it'd probably be a ride along, because that's general, public people, going to look at it. Whereas Bronco Off Roadeo was someone that is buying or has already taken delivery of their Bronco. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit different. Part of the Bronco Off Roadeo is in your price of this Bronco. So there's a credit in there. At least in our case, we get this, credit back when we actually take delivery of our Bronco. But what was exciting, I was hoping I wasn't going to get it in look, nothing against manual. I have a manual Mustang, but I'm not ordering a manual Bronco. I didn't, the two doors are cool. Maybe our second one would be a two door, but I wanted to be in what we were buying. And so we were blessed with that. 4-door Badlands Sasquatch with all the bells and whistles, minus the 360 cameras, which I started to say that earlier. I think I cut myself off. When you're going up a hill, the 360 camera is huge, because if you don't have somebody there spotting you, it's very difficult, right? You can't see really. So you need a spotter that you can see. Another thing I learned also about a spotter, you have to learn trust when you're off-roading and you have someone spotting you. So for example, there was a couple cases where we were going up a hill. I could see my spotter out the side window. He's telling me driver or passenger which way to turn the wheel. And there was a certain feel I was getting in the wheel, and I wanted to go passenger, and he's telling me to go driver. And there was that split second in there. It was uncomfortable, but I said, this person knows what they're doing. So I went the uncomfortable way, which was the right way, because you can't see that obstacle, that rock just ahead of you a little bit, right? And there was plenty of times Alexa's like, hey, Dad, there's a big rock over here. Make sure you don't scrape it on the side of the Bronco. So, geez, I don't have the camera. So the 360 cameras, how we shoot down on the sides like our F-250, we can see on the side, but we'll be able to see when our front tires are clearing this obstacle. But in this case, you watch your spotter and you're paying attention to them, and they're telling you where to go. They're telling you how to turn the wheel, whether it's driver, straight, passenger, slow down, speed up. It was a total thing to learn trust. I mean, it's insulting to call them strangers. You haven't met them before the day you went, right? But by the time you leave, everyone feels like friends. But you had to put trust in this person that they're telling you to go the right way. Welcome to off-roading. Welcome to four-wheeling. So when you have those events, you have spotters, learn that trust. And there again, if you go four-wheeling every week, you get it. This is not my deal, man. I'm new to this, so I'm learning. Mm-hmm. So isn't that interesting? An interesting take, so to speak. And hello, the pavement ends now. How are you? Nice to see you chiming in here.
That's at 9:24.
Yep.
And it's 9:30.
Yeah, well, hopefully you're still here. We're just jamming, but I just want to tell you the Bronco Off Roadeo, man. That was exciting, And I've watched some videos where somebody said, "Well, you don't really need to go." Look, in my opinion, you do. But even if you go off roading and you think you know it all, there may be that one thing. I always tell you this in business mastery. Whenever I'm teaching someone or I go to an event where I'm learning about business, if you learn one thing, it was worth it, right? But the one thing I'll tell you is, if you look at the video here on our channel, Breaking Bronco, if you watch that here on our playlist, Breaking Bronco, you will actually see that one ride by itself makes the 2-day trip to Texas worth it. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought what we went through in Townsend, Tennessee and it was great. We had a great driver. It was fun. This was epic. Like, I had the Bronco's cool. We know that. Looks good, sounds good, cool features. They work. Until you've been in that passenger seat. And the closest thing maybe you've gotten is, you can watch the video here on my channel, or you can go to Bronco Off Roadeo if you're ordering a Bronco, or if you've taken delivery of your Bronco. So anyway, what do you have? And we're going to wrap it up for tonight, my man.
We are reaching about to be 39 minutes, so about 40 minutes.
Yeah. Texas is an interesting place. The bugs down there were kind of cool too. I sent my wife some pictures. I texted her pictures. She said it reminded her with the bugs, and I think I did a video. So the sounds of the bugs and the Broncos and the terrain, it reminded her of Jurassic Park when they were leaving. So I was like, when we were leaving the base camp there, she said it just reminded her of Jurassic Park. I don't know why. The place was cool. I love it. I can't wait to go back to Texas for whatever reason or another. We'll find a reason. And hopefully we get to do other Bronco Off Rodeos. I know if we do, we'll have to pay full price for it. I don't know how that's going to work yet. I haven't checked into it, but Moab is somewhere I want to go. And I think we're going to try to do Moab early winter, which, we'll see. I know we're not going in the summer, right? I got that. So we're going to see what it's like.
Yeah, because that would be way too hot.
So Supercell West will be there. Hopefully, everyone that can be there will be there. It'll be a great event. One thing Gavin and I have learned, like I said, is we're going to every Bronco event that we possibly can. When we get our Bronco, whenever that is. Oh, by the way, we're going to mention something on that. Whenever we finally get our build date, then we can really start planning this stuff. So I think I've made up my mind. I think I'm going to drop the trailer hitch, the hitch package, and the wiring harness, Gavin. What you looking at, my man? Yep. So I think we're going to drop the hitch, and this is my final week to make a color change if I'm going to make it. And I need some help. If someone is watching this live or later, it doesn't matter. Hit me up in the comments. I am an Area 51 order. That's on my order right now. But something keeps pushing me to race red.
I really like Rapid Red.
Rapid Red is cool. I like Rapid Red too, but something keeps pushing me to race red. What would you do? Would you, now remember, I haven't gotten my VIN yet, so I can change. What would you do? Would you stay Area 51 or would you do race red? There's something about race red. I had a red pickup truck before, and there's two things about it. One was it was really, really cool. As it got older, it did fade a little bit, and it's older technology and paint. I get it. Because it was a flat color, you could see more swirl in the paint. Now, one of the things that I was curious to know, how are the Bronco paint colors, or the paint jobs in general, but especially the different colors, how are they holding up, right? Because it doesn't really matter what color it's painted. The visuals, though, will look, so black will show up more swirls than, say, white. The white obviously was the one that looked the cleanest, meaning no swirls in it. It was the darker colors you could see a little bit, but I mean, not even a lot. These things they're run through the mud every day, power washed every day. The paint is actually holding up very, very well. Consider how many times you would go four-wheeling and how many times you'd wash it with a power washer. Those Broncos have been through the ringer already. And that's the other thing. So I did ask a question, how many breakdowns have you had? Tire here, tire there, no big deal. So these Broncos were run for 3 days straight, all day for the ride-alongs in Townsend, Tennessee. Now they're being run through Texas Bronco Off Roadeo. Novice drivers like myself was in one. Of course, I was easy on it, right? I listened in the pre-trail the technical part of this, and I actually paid attention what to do, what not to do. But then if there were one of the lucky two at the end that the trail guides take them around for that very spirited ride, they actually get run to death. These Broncos are run hard. And I'll tell you, they all work. They all sound good. They don't have a bunch of crazy vibrations or things falling off of them. They're tough vehicles. I think that's my biggest takeaway is when I parked it at the end of the 2 days, I said, wow, not one breakdown, not one issue, nothing. I think, someone got a flat tire from a rock that poked the tire just right. I mean, that's welcome to off-roading. No equipment issues whatsoever. Isn't that cool? Mm-hmm. So if you want to know, is the technology there? It's there. If you want to know, is the reliability there? I can say based on this small experiment between Tennessee and Texas, yes, it is there. So. Mm-hmm. It is very awesome. I appreciate everyone watching tonight. I did most of the talking. Gavin didn't do a whole lot of chit-chatting tonight. Yeah. You've been out of the game for a little bit, doing your thing. So, hey, comment below if you think if I should change from Area 51 to race red, or maybe there's another color you think. I've been an Area 51 guy since the beginning, but something is just tugging on me. I don't have my build date yet, and so I figure if I'm going to make a change, I'm going to make it. I think I'm going to drop the tow package. It's a trailer hitch and a wiring harness. I don't want to really go with the soft top option right now because we want to do the Yakima roof mounted tent. We want to do some different things, cargo mounting on the roof rails, and I need the hardtop for that. So it's I guess it's tempting to go with the soft top, but if you go with the soft top now, I mean, I can't guarantee it's going to speed my order up. First of all, I've learned the hard way, not to end on a negative note, but I've learned the hard way is that the reservation date is not the end all be all. What part of the country you live in, your dealer allocation, and I'm sure a whole bunch of other stuff we don't really know goes into who's getting the Bronco and when. I just don't know where I fit into that, but I think that I'm going to at least get rid of. I don't have the brush bar or the bull bar. We're going to get rid of the hitch, and we're going to see if that one little thing helps at all. And we'll see what happens. But if you go with the soft top now and you get the wiring harness in September, basically, if you decide now, after September, the builds will have that optional harness. It's going to be at least a year, and I would say, based on everything else, I would personally, I would just think a year and a half, 2 years before you can get your hardtop. So I don't really want to wait that long to go camping, so I'm kind of holding out for the hardtop now. Ask me in 3 weeks, and I may change my mind. But I'm just really hoping we get our build date. I was kind of hoping first day reservation holder, and getting one loaded would be beneficial. But so far we're waiting, aren't we? Mm-hmm. So anything you want to add before we let everyone go?
Not really, but everyone should maybe, if you're feeling courteous, well.
Oh, I'm reading here. Yeah, so the payment ins now commented about the color change. Cyber orange, Area 51, antimatter blue.
Cactus gray.
Cactus gray. Man, you've been all over the board.
I don't know what VB is. I forgot that.
Velocity blue.
Oh,
race red.
Race red.
Yeah, inadvertently missed ordering the tow package, but we'll add the kit later.
Well,
yeah. See, adding that tow package is something that we have a accessory company here. They do trailer work and hitches on vehicles. I mean, I've already asked them, and they said, "Well, we haven't done one yet, but typically it's 4 to 6 bolts and an easy wiring harness. So may end up being cheaper there as well. So we'll see. But the tow package is not big for me. What is big for me is actually getting this Bronco, so we can start doing our thing.
And we don't know if that's race red or rapid red, because that's R.
Good choice. So is it race red or rapid red, or was it both? So Bronco Nation has a bunch of great videos out. You've been around, you've seen it, but there's one that they did a walk around. This one is the one I watched 50 times. Mm-hmm. And it's an Area 51 with the Yakima tent, the ARB fridge in the back, and it's they're doing a walk around, setting it up for camping, so to speak. That was what got me, I think, hooked on the Area 51. I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. But whenever I go to an event, I see it, and I'm sold on it again. But then I leave, and there's just something nagging at me. And
both.
Yeah, both. Yeah, I hear you. And they're both nice looking colors. By the way, at Bronco Off Roadeo inside, Gavin's pointing out we're dangerously low on battery power here. So we didn't bring the charger. We're getting ready to go dead on the battery there. But yeah, both reds. But at Bronco Off Roadeo inside the base camp, there's a rapid red one there, and it's sharp. It really is. But anyway, we'll see. Mm-hmm. I'm just but what I started to say was I make up my mind pretty quickly, and I'm slow to change it. The color on this thing, though, and I think it's because I've had a lot of time to second guess myself. I keep thinking, because I haven't gotten it yet, is that the universe telling me to pick another color? I don't know what it is. So we'll see. But this week, I'm going to decide and forever hold my peace and go from there. And if I don't like it, the second Bronco will definitely be different. And yeah, we're going to have to wrap this thing up. Hey, it's been great. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. Whether you're watching live, you're watching later, doesn't matter. Please like the video. That helps YouTube spread this around to other Bronco enthusiasts. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel. That helps us. We're on a goal to get to 500 subscribers, and we want to do it as quick as possible. Go through our playlist on our channel. Look at some of the videos uploaded. I have 7, I think, right now ready to go. If you look at what we've got, just imagine what's coming, right? Totally awesome. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you had a good 4th of July. Have a great, successful, productive week. Be safe and be nice to somebody. Mm-hmm. And we're out. See, pavement. Bye. The pavement ends now, By the way, I like that name. That's awesome. Thank you very much for tuning in. Nice talking to you, and we'll see you next time. See ya.
Bye.